Adam Silver, the NBA's half-human, half-alien-looking commissioner, wildly intelligent man though, has known now for some time that the playoffs are going to need restructuring. When you look at the teams in the Eastern Conference, the 22-30 Miami Heat and the 22-30 Charlotte Hornets would be the 7 and 8 seed in the East, while the 29-25 Suns and 34-19 Spurs will be the 7 and 8 seeds respectively in the Western Conference. So teams, simply put, it's not balanced, and Adam Silver knows this. So there's been two proposed fans / some weight is being held with these as to be 1 through 16 seeded as an entirety, and we talked about this on the Shot Clock, which both of you guys have been on. And there's also the 1 through 8 division champions then get seeded 1 through 8 in terms of best record, while 9 through 16 then get seeded by best record.
That's a worse idea.
Do you think the division champions is worse than the 1 through 16 overall seeds?
Well, first of all, there's nothing to, division championship shouldn't really mean anything unless
there's more
schedules
games.
are weighted.
Right.
I mean, these teams are rather randomly you're basically playing everybody in your conference the same number of times. So really the only things that really matter are the conference. So pretending that the divisions matter is silly. You're reaching for something. Baseball has made the divisions matter because you play the teams in your division so many more times.
Right. Well, I think if Adam Silver is going to restructure the NBA playoffs, there's going to have to be an NBA schedule restructuring because of, as he's mentioned, travel. He doesn't want the Miami Heat to be playing the Golden State Warriors on a back-to-back day basis for a playoff series.
Yeah, but
more regularly.
I got it. It's a 7-game series. We have. It's funny. I don't know whether you guys know this yet. We have this thing now that the NBA. I think the NBA is using it too. I know the other sports are. Planes.
Yeah.
And here's what they should do, and this is definitive. Nothing. Leave it. Eventually, the balance of power will switch back, and you'll have to just leave it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That was exactly my point because again, we talked just a minute ago about changes in people's their salaries and their salary caps and teams and players in free agency. Players move around and they consistently move around. Next, one of these superstars in the East is going to be a superstar in the West and vice versa. So as we keep trying to chase with what's happening right now, it's going to flip on everyone. Now, if you make it a whole complete thing, as we talked about, maybe 1 through 16, that takes care of that. But then, as Ben was saying, you have to or I think you mentioned, you have to change the scheduling throughout the regular season. So you play these certain teams. NBA fans have become accustomed, baseball fans are accustomed to the way they play their schedule with certain divisions constantly all the time. In basketball, if you live in Milwaukee, you maybe want to see Kobe come out from LA more than once once every 3 years, So you have to, they have the commodity in their players, and they know that there's these superstars that everyone in every city wants to see, so you have to have them not be disappearing on bringing these guys in. So it's going to be harder than
1
that.
through 16 seeded, I think, is completely okay. I don't care about the traveling. That was just
They
simply what Adam
played,
Silver said. But I disagree completely that you guys think that it's fine as is when you have the Nets 21-31, a game out of a playoff spot, while the 27-26 Pelicans aren't even going to be coming close.
They're both going to lose in the first round. They're 27-26. There shouldn't be 16 teams in the playoffs. Who gets angry that a 27-26 team is somehow going to be deprived of the playoffs? They are an average basketball team. They shouldn't be in the playoffs in the first place.
Are the Thunder an average basketball
Yes, their
team?
players were hurt. That's the thing you have to live with.
Yeah, so they should absolutely be in the playoffs, though. If win a 1 through 16 seeded format, you're telling me that it's okay that the Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets, who were such atrocious this beginning of the season and still are playing pretty bad basketball, as the 8 seed is a fair comparison to putting Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook in the freaking 8 seed.
First of all, eventually, here's the thing. 2 years from now, Kevin Durant is going to be a Wizard and Russell Westbrook is going to be a Knick.
And the playoffs will be seeded 1 through 16.
Yeah, it changes. In the balance of power, you're overreacting to a symptom of a few years, what's been about 7 or 8 years right now.
Sports need to evolve. They need to change their rules. We talked about this with the World Cup in soccer and how you always
Then you have to change the whole schedule.
That's fine.
But you can't change the whole schedule because you can't have Washington and New York and Miami consistently over 82 games going out and playing Portland and Phoenix as often.
You said before that they have these things
in the
called
playoffs.
planes.
You could do it in the playoffs. If you're going to do 1 through 16 in the playoffs, it's not that big a deal, but you can't have them flying all over the country. Basically, you play the places you're closest to. Regional rivalries matter. And sometimes the East is going to be better than the West. It will happen. It used to happen. It happened before.
For a long time,
and when Russell Westbrook is on the Knicks and Kevin Durant's on the Wizards in 2016, this will all seem like a silly argument.
And also, by the way, and when it comes to the seeding, I'm still cool with the 16 teams. I love it.
Yeah,
I don't think we need to shrink it down. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a fan of watching as many games as possible. And it happens every once in a while. It's why it's such a big deal when you get an 8 seed that actually pulls that shit off. And every time it's happened, we go, this is amazing.
How many times has it happened? Once?
2 or 3 times?
Twice?
I think it's
Twice. It was the Knicks
off the
and
top
also
of my
I
head,
think the Nuggets, and then I thought Dallas. Didn't Dallas come through from the 8th seed when they won?
The
No,
Nuggets
they-
beat the Nuggets beat the Sonics.
And then also the Knicks made that championship run. They lost in the finals, but they were an 8th seed as well.
Yeah,
These are things that highlights and epic things are made of in the past. We still remember when Mutombo was holding the ball. That's like a thing. I'm okay.
I
with
got it.
this.
Here's the regular season in the NBA does not matter. It is a waste of time for us to talk about it. It's a waste of time for everybody to talk about
the
it.
first half.
It's not.
I love every
I know you
game
love
of the season.
I got it, and that's fine. So I would say, look, if the NBA wanted to take this seriously, they really wanted to be, then you'd reduce the schedule, right? Which you don't want. I hear you, and I understand why. And I understand why they're not going to either, because the TV deals are based on 82 games.
Definitely.
So,
$2.66 billion worth of deal.
and you'd make it so making the playoffs mattered, so that right now, more than 50% of the league's in the playoffs. It's a joke. It's a joke. No, it's silly. Then why not just let everybody in?
Look at last
Let's
year.
add 2 teams to the NBA. Let's have 32 teams in the playoffs.
Last
We'll
season
play
was
82 games
so-
just for seeding.
Game 7 weekend was a thing last year.
If you cut that to playoffs just from 16 down to 12, and you made 2 teams that had the best records get buys in that first round, and shorten as they did before, that's the way it was for years and years and years. And add that first, but the playoff money, the TV money, that's all this is. This wasn't about fairness. This was about chasing TV dollars and our desire to know we'll soak it in. And we're having an argument about whether the Pelicans are getting burned? Come on,
but
man.
see,
I'm saying
isn't
if
that
the
a problem?
Thunder are getting burned.
But isn't that a problem for every sport?
Davis
No,
will be the best
and
player in the
it's going
NBA
to turn to a
soon.
defense of the league, because isn't that the argument for every sport? Somebody's going to say, well, in baseball, they play 275 games a year. What the fuck? Why play 275 games if you let in 4 fucking teams? You know, it seems ridiculous. So you go, well, damn, man, I wore myself out for all these damn games, and
You got to earn it.
I have to only win my division to get in. Jesus.
No, well, first of all, they got it in baseball now.
But I mean,
that's
these
10
are all
teams.
extreme things, yeah.
Right, but I mean, but the regular season should matter, and you feel it, whether you know it or not. But when we watch a regular season NBA game, when we see the Spurs play the Mavericks, who cares? One of them's going to finish 5th, one of them's going to finish 7th, one of them's going to finish 3rd, one of them's going to finish 6th.
They're both going to meet each other in the playoffs.
They're going to.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter, and that's too
But
bad.
then who's at home during the playoffs? That's a
Right.
huge deal.
Right,
Well-
but we've already had coaches, because winning in the NBA on the road has gotten easier. It's gotten better. The coaches have gotten better. They've prepared teams to play. So already, Greg Popovich has decided, we'll be on the road. It's okay, you know. And so being the number 1 seed, having home court advantage, it matters a little, but it doesn't matter that much. And these teams
Spurs
are
and Popovich are a rare breed, but yes.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think the NBA playoffs needs a restructuring, or should they leave it as is? Or do you think that the Pelicans are getting burned, according to Ben Mankiewicz? We'll see you next time.